What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo, and I'm back in studio, but this time my guest is none other than Jake Atlas. Jake, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm super stoked when you reached out to do this, and I'm excited.
I know. Why did we take so long to do this? I have no idea why I didn't reach out sooner.
I don't know, and it was funny. I saw it on Twitter that you had done one with Peter just recently, and I was like, why hasn't she reached out to me? I was like, hold on, maybe I should reach out to her. But I'm glad that it happened. But I literally, when I saw Peter's thing, I thought of it, and then you reached out, and I was like, oh, perfect.
You know, it's pretty interesting because nobody ever reaches out to me. I'm always the one reaching out to other people. So maybe it's something that people are like, oh, maybe I shouldn't reach out. But you should, because sometimes you don't know, like, I don't know, like, oh, hey, Jake wants to talk to me, you know?
Yeah, well, I didn't know. Maybe I was too boring or something. You were like, oh, no.
Okay. Boring, definitely not you, and I'm going to get into that later on, but let's just go ahead and kick it off. So one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you in here and talk to you is because there is so much buzz right now going on behind your name, and I thought to myself, I got to get him in here before he's too big to take this interview. But let's just kick it off. Last night, you had a match at Ring of Honor against Tyler Bateman. How did that come about for you?
Oh, that was, I was so stoked when Ring of Honor reached out and invited me to work the show. I think that after PWG and Battle of Los Angeles that happened, maybe I think that was like last week now. There's definitely some buzz going on, and they really jumped on that. And I was very, very honored to do that. Ring of Honor has so much history. Some of the best people have come out of there. I mean, you think Daniel Bryan is synonymous with Ring of Honor, so to have that rub and to kind of be like, hey, we want to check you out. We want to see what's we want to work with you. That was really, really cool. And Bateman is obviously a SoCal great and someone I trained with. So it all kind of worked out that like we worked each other and we were comfortable. We kind of knew what we were going to do and we were in that position together. And just as a whole, the environment was so welcoming, from production to the wrestlers backstage. I had a great experience.
So was it like a tryout or just kind of like come in and, like, let's see how we work together?
I would say it was more of like, let's work together and then let's talk and then see what happens after that.
Kind of go from there. Okay, so before we get into more information on that, I do want to jump in and talk about PWG's Battle of Los Angeles. But before we get to the actual tournament, for you were one of the guys that sort of broke in back into PWG because, for years they weren't booking local guys, and you were one of the first ones to sort of get back on there. What did that mean to you, given how prestigious and how coveted PWG is in the wrestling world?
It was definitely a lot of pressure, more than anything. Obviously, Brody King was the first one to kind of get there, and then after that, he opened the floodgates. But it was more so, if we're going to start, it was more, what I thought to myself was PWG saying, if we're going to do this again, you have to be good. So there was just so much added pressure on my part, on my end, because when I did debut for PWG, I was only a year in. I was just so new, and I didn't know. Everything happened so fast. There was so much, not only was there pressure to be good, but it's like, it's like with age, with every year, you get wiser, you get better. It's the same thing with wrestling. With every year you improve. And so only being a year in, there was only so much limited experience. So I'm very thankful that it happened that way, because honestly, I didn't get the match that I wanted for my debut, and I don't think that I performed to the best of my ability, and there's no excuse there. I'm not gonna say because I was new, whatever. It's just there are people that are 6 months in the business and are freaking prodigies, so it's like that's not an excuse. But I think it was motivation, it was like, wow, so this is where you are, pinpoint there and then grow. And then to get to where I got to being on Battle of Los Angeles, I mean, it just, for me, it was like, you're the SoCal boy. There's a lot of pressure. There's going to be a lot of people that don't want you to be on this. Let's be real. There's going to be a lot of people that are like, he doesn't deserve it. He's too young. He's too new. So it was just, I just kind of took that and ran with it and was like, well, let me at least prove them wrong.
And so, you say that your debut, maybe you weren't as proud of it as you could have been, but the fact that they called you back to come back, did you expect that?
No, I kind of was just like, like it happened. The match happened. I got brought back to do Rosita, and then that match happened, and I thought that match was good. Okay, I wasn't mad about it. Anything. It just was. I mean, with your work, it just wasn't my best work, and I kind of just went and I just kept doing my thing. I didn't think about it. I didn't reach back out. I didn't reach out to PWG and say, hey, can you bring me back? I just kind of let it be. And I didn't have any expectations until, it was literally a year after that he reached out again and said, hey, were you interested in working again? And I said, yeah.
And they say that that's when things happen, when you're just out there doing the best that you can, trying to get every opportunity that you possibly can. That's when more things come to you. So now, Battle of Los Angeles, so many people raving about it. And then your match with Jungle Boy, first round. What was it like working with him, especially considering it was one of his last indie match in the Indies?
Yes. I think actually his last match on the Indies will be tomorrow against me. so we're gonna do it again. But it was Jungle Boy's my best friend. He's one of my best friends. We grew so much in a matter of like a year. So sorry. We grew so much in a matter of a year, and it was like to just see our growth was insane, and to have it kind of like come together at like the biggest wrestling company in the world. That's not the biggest independent wrestling company in the world. Was kind of just like, whoa, like you had to step back and be like, that's insane. We would drive up to San Francisco to do All Pro Wrestling, and we were like, on the mid card opening match on this show, and then we kind of worked our way up to main event that show, and then we won titles there, and then you know what I mean? Then he got signed at All Elite, and then have us be on PWG, and then it kind of just come together as a first round match. Like it wasn't. That's why I think it was just so good. It was because it was so easy. It was so easy. I was in there with my friend. I was in there with my brother. Like it was just the energy, the vibe. It was just there. And I feel like people could feel that. And I feel like that's what added to it, was the emotion behind it. And I was freaking stoked about it.
Okay, so now your second round fight match, you lost to Dragon Lee.
Yes.
So what was it like working with him? And then you also lost when you wrestled him in the King of Indies in 2000. You also lost to Dragon Lee in the final round. So what is happening there?
Oh man, I can't seem to get him. Jesus, that guy is incredible. I have nothing but positive things to say about Dragon Lee. I just saw him. He was at Ring of Honor last night, and we talked at great length, and he's become one of my friends too. It was, when we did the King of Indies, we had no time because we were in the finals, and there was less matches, not as many as the PWG is a big tournament. King of Indies was like a small tournament, less people, so it was quicker. Meaning, by the time it got to the finals, we only had like maybe 5-10 minutes to plan this match, and a lot of it was just improvised. And we had a great match, so it spoke really highly about both of our work, that we were able to be pros and go out there and kind of listen to each other. There was no ego. There was nothing. We knew what we wanted to give to the fans. We knew what was there, the history. And obviously he went up and he went over, but it was kind of just that chip on me where I'm like, okay, well, I know what I have to improve. I know what we're going to do. I hope I get that chance again. So when I saw it happen at PWG again, I was like, this is fate. Like this is what it was meant to be, and we had a much better match. Not that the first one was bad at all, but just a much better match, much better chemistry. We both kind of knew what we wanted to do. We knew each other. For me, I was honored that I made it to the second round. I had no idea going in. A lot of people think, we know a lot of the behind the scenes, but I literally showed up day one of PWG not knowing anything of what was going on. And none of us did. No one knew what the outcome of the tournament was going to be. No one knew what their second round match was going to be. To me, being a first time, it was my first Bola. I've only been on PWG a few times. Like, being a SoCal guy, I didn't know. Me just moving on to the second round was like, that's amazing. Like, you know what I mean? I'm so honored. I obviously want to make it to the semis and the finals, and I gave it my all to try to get there. But I was just grateful for that opportunity.
Especially given the incredible amount of talent, and just basically it's it's a great pat on the back to know that your name is there, along with so many other people, and I'm sure you feel that way as well. So also going back to the King of Indies, how did it feel for you knowing to be part of this, being a part of this, something that helped build guys like Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, Loki, but this is part of the reason why Ring of Honor became so strong, because of a tournament like this.
I think it makes me realize that I'm doing something, I'm on the right path. It makes me realize like I'm doing the right steps to get to my goal, whatever that may be, I obviously just want to be very, very great at wrestling. Obviously there is an end goal. There's somewhere I want to end up. There's somewhere I want to sign, but the end all be all is I want to be remembered for being great at it. And so if these the names that you've mentioned, not only are they wrestlers who are signed to companies now, but they're wrestlers who you bring them up and people are like, that he's great at that, he's a great wrestler. You know what I mean?
He's great for a reason, because he went out there and he worked with different guys, and that's what makes a wrestler, better.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I strive for. Aside from just the goal, it's improving my craft while getting there.
So speaking of guys, that, sort of build themselves and make a name for themselves, like there's so many. I mean, we can talk about AJ Styles. We can talk about, Drew McIntyre. There are so many names, Kenny Omega. I almost feel that it's kind of better for a guy to go out, make the rounds, really, really, just kind of level up in his own game, even though sometimes you feel like you can't level up, but you level up. Yeah. It almost feels like your value is stronger.
Oh, I agree 100%. And it just puts you in a tough position, because you might get to that point where something's there, anything, an offer, whatever, what have you. And then you get to that point of, am I making the right decision by just getting it, or can I grow more as a performer, as an athlete, as a wrestler, and then add more value to me and see if that offer can grow? It's such a weird position, because your whole life you grow up dreaming of achieving this one particular accomplishment, and it's like when you get there, it's like, how am I going to get there? Do I want it right now? You know what I mean? It's insane. And going back to you saying these guys have either gotten there and then left and then built their name. It's like, it's just a testament going back to, it's more than just getting to the pinnacle. It's getting to the pinnacle and being great. Being worth something, like being a household name, being something of value, to everyone, to the company, to fans, to yourself,
I gotta applaud you for that, because like you said, when it's something that you've been dreaming about for so long and you wonder, will the opportunity ever come? And it's sort of hard to, sort of step out of who you are and sort of see that big picture. A lot of people can't see the big picture. And I kind of feel that with you sort of stepping out and thinking, okay, should I do this or should I do that? You're really stepping out and seeing everything as a whole. So that within itself is, it's pretty interesting that you're able to do that, because I don't think a lot of people can do that.
Yeah, I think, I think just for me, I think like long term, and I'm 24 years old. It's getting to that point of starting to really think about what's next in life. You're still young, but you're like, not
almost 30.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, so I think that's what kind of helps me kind of step back and be like, what do you want?
Right. Okay, so now let's talk about something that I want to really bring up with you. So earlier you said, oh, I thought I was boring. And I was like, no. And I'm going to circle back to this afterwards. So I know I already mentioned this to you at Expo Lucha, but I'm going to mention it because I want everybody watching this to really understand something that you bring that I think is absolutely incredible is that you have this energy, this presence that really can't be explained. And I'm going to go ahead and dive into that Suburban Fight show with your match versus Dom Kubrick and Slice Boogie. I was the ring announcer for that show. I was on that stage when you guys were, doing your thing and really going crazy. And I don't even know what happened, but there was this moment where you just went completely like crazy, balls out, insane, new energy. All I remember is you on the stage with your arms out, and the crowd went nuts for you. Yeah. It was a new energy, an energy that I hadn't felt in a really long time, being at so many wrestling events. It was very new, and I remember thinking, holy damn, is this Jake Atlas? I was just talking to him earlier. What am I seeing right now? So with that being said, what do you think it is about you that really resonates with people and really brings out this energy and everything that I just mentioned?
I think I ask myself that question all the time too, because being a performer, you're always trying to grow. What can I do different? You're always trying to learn, And I think what it has come down to is relatability. I try to be as relatable as possible to everyone and anyone, and I fall into so many categories, my ethnic background, my LGBT background. There's just so many things that people can relate to. And I try to be relatable to each person. And I think what it comes down to is when I'm Jake on the street, when I'm Jake at home, like every person, we battle insecurities, we battle demons. We're like, are we good enough? There's a lot of like down. So when you have that moment and that platform to kind of be in front of a crowd, whether it be 5 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, you have them here in the palm of your hand, and you can make them feel whatever it is you want them to feel. And I want them to feel confident because I want to feel that, I want to feel confident. So I have to force myself to be this presence, to be this, like, it's okay to be whoever and whatever you are. Like, you stand right there and yell off the top of your lungs, like, you do you. And it's like a reminder for myself, then say it to yourself, Jake, like, you be confident. So I think that's where it stems from, is like, I get when people are down. So it's like, when we have that moment to be up, let's all share it. Like, and I try to convey that. I try my best to just let that out. Like, and aside from the fact that I just love pro wrestling and I love what I do, that's my platform to give them positivity and adrenaline and this sense of living, sense of life, and, I don't know. That's what it stems from, because I'm a pretty mellow person, pretty chill, but like I just want people to feel alive, and however I can do that, I'll go out of my way to. But yeah, that Suburban Fight show is insane.
It really was. No, and there's so many things. So first of all, you mentioned that the key word that you mentioned was relatable. And it's funny because the second you said that, that's one of the number one things that I learned in hosting school was being relatable equals ratings. Yeah. So that's one of the things that I think that, really attracts people. So when you said that, I was like, oh man, like, it's crazy how that can also apply, to pro wrestling. And I'm sure it can apply into many other different facets of life. But it's funny because you say like, oh, I force myself to be this, and go out there and show people confidence because I want them to feel that confidence. But it doesn't really feel like it's something that's forced. Like, it feels like it comes really natural to you though.
Yeah, I think, I like to just tune it out and just be like, this is my moment to be badass. You can't be badass all the time. Like, you're not going to be walking down the street with your nose up. People are going to think you're obnoxious or arrogant. Like, that's your moment to be a complete superstar, which is why I call myself superstar. Like, it's your moment to be the center of attention, and instead of just keeping it for myself, like let's all kind of reap the benefit.
That's awesome. So speaking of career highlights, PWG Bola, so many other stuff, speaking about the buzz and the energy. And I know you kind of already touched on this subtly, but I'm just going to be bold and I'm just going to go out there and say it. You need to be signed somewhere. And I know that you said that you're stepping out and, you're really evaluating things and what you want to do. So do you think you'll sign with somebody, or do you think you're going to continue going on with the indies and sort of honing your skills some more?
Oh, man. That's a difficult question. I'm open to whatever it is that I've always been a huge believer of. Everything happens for a reason, and whatever needs to happen will happen. I've just always been just go with the flow. Whatever is meant to be, it will just be. And I'm willing to just be open to continuing to be on the independents and help my scene grow, not only just Southern California, but, the entire indie scene grow. I feel like there's a lot left for me to do. I haven't gone to Japan. I haven't gone to Canada. I've just done Mexico and US and UK. Like, there's just so many things that I feel are left, but then that's one side of things. And the other side of thing is, my mom is out of work. She's disabled. She doesn't work. My brother and I are the sole providers for my family. So it's like, that's a whole other thing I have to think about too. It's when you're signed somewhere, it's money that's guaranteed. It's a contract that gives you a living, that allows you to provide for whatever it is that you need to provide. If people are married, whatever. I'm not, but I have my family. I have my mom, and so it's just a lot to think about, but I'm just hopeful that whatever it is that I do end up deciding to do, that people are just supportive, that people just continue to follow me and continue to say, you made the right decision. Even though I don't think there's a right or wrong, I just hope they're like, it's the right decision because it's what you wanted, and
Exactly.
And I'm open to whatever. So.
And now, obviously, the rumor circulating around is that you've had multiple offers being made. Now, obviously, you don't have to name any names or anything like that. I won't put you on the spot. It ain't that kind of show. But with what you just said right now, my question prior was going to be, why did you maybe say no to these offers? Again, these are all rumors. But with what you just said right now, that sort of puts it into place. But how do you feel, having these offers from people and, just really having that time to really have to make some decisions? We all want to have decisions to make or choices, but when we're actually presented with them, it ain't always easy,
No,
okay?
Not at all. Further, I'll go on record and say that I haven't actually made a decision yet. So I'm still not signed, but...
So the offers weren't rejected or accepted.
Exactly. Offers were not rejected or accepted. And I was just having a conversation with one of my good friends, Lucas Riley, about this. I was like, it's crazy. You again, going back to, you dream of this your whole life. This is your goal. You have a certain idea of what you want to do and where you want to get to. And then when you get to this point, you're like a deer in headlights. You're like, man, what? I don't know. You just don't know. And it's a good feeling because it makes you feel valued. It makes you feel like what you've done for whatever amount of reason, because I've always been a firm believer of your hard work is for you. They don't ever gloat about however hard you work, or if you work harder than this person or X person. Like, just do it for yourself. Like, whatever hard work, that if you want to be at the gym 6 days a week, do it because you wanted to be at the gym you know what I mean? That's just an example. Like, there's many things in pro wrestling terms. If you want to train 4 times a week at your dojo or at your school, then do it for yourself. Don't do it to post it or to say, I'm the hardest worker of this. Like, do it for you. So where I'm getting at is like, it just, because I've always been so, it's for me, it's just to see it kind of all come together and be like, okay, my hard work meant something again for me. And now I get to see what's going to happen. Like, what's next for me? Like that decision is having to come soon. And to be in that position where I get to decide, that's kind of like, just reassuring for me, because going back to whatever it is that I decide, that's the right thing because that's what I wanted.
Right. I always think that's the best way to go. You got to follow your heart. You got to follow your gut. And, it's led you this far. So trust your instincts because those are what's going to get you someplace. So now that I asked the hard questions, those are out of the way. But now let's go ahead and dial it back a little bit. Your background, you used to be a cheerleader.
Yep.
How did that sort of, help you with wrestling, not help you with wrestling?
I think it just helped me be athletic. It made me it also helped me with showmanship and be like a showman, I did competitive cheerleading. So, a lot of the stuff that we're judged on that a lot of people don't know about, if you're not into competitive cheerleading, is just like your showmanship. It's not just the crazy flips or the stunts that you do, but it's like how you can captivate the crowd as well, and so, it kind of helped me just be a performer. And actually, in a lot of ways, cheerleading is very similar to pro wrestling, even athletically. Like the routines are just it's like fast. It's like you guys. I don't know if you're familiar with like HIIT cardio, like high interval intensity training. It's like that. It's like 2 minutes of just boom, 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 boom. And wrestling is very much the same. It's like boom, 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 rest, boom, boom. So it's like
Well, that's really interesting to me because like when I found this out, I was like, wow, cheerleading, that is so cool. And it's interesting because not everyone can say that, especially in pro wrestling,
Yeah, no, 100%.
And then you also trained at Santino's. And the thing about Santino's is that they have been able to really bring out lots of quality wrestlers, guys that are making a name for themselves. So the school, what you would say, has a great reputation thus far. What is it about Santino's and the training that has made their school and their talent so successful?
I think we're a family. We are all one. We're all united and we all push each other and motivate each other to be the best versions of ourselves. We all know each other's strengths and we all know each other's weaknesses. So we all do a great job of exploiting each thing. If you're good at this, we're going to highlight you in this way. If you're good at this, like everyone just is unique in their own ways, and we're all so supportive in some way, in some capacity, whether it's via message or social media. There's group messages all over the place of different Santino collectives, and it's just because we're always looking out for each other. And I think it's a testament to Chaos and Robbie, who just brought us up as like their kids, so we're all brothers and sisters, and we kind of all just push each other. And it's not always all just positive, it's sometimes negative. It's like you didn't do well at this, like we're just real. And I think that's what is a key to our success.
It's really cool because, in this business, things can be very competitive. Like you mentioned earlier, some people could be like, oh, well, I'm better than him, I should be there. Yep. Career jealousy and all of that stuff. We see it in all realms of, entertainment and all of that. But with that, having the support is always really nice because, it's nice to know that some people have your back and aren't waiting to stab you, stab you behind your back. So I think always having that is, a really nice thing. Yeah. And the fact that it's not always rainbows and butterflies, but there's that critique behind there. Yeah. So that's really interesting that you mentioned that as well. So now, speaking of the support, I'm going to go ahead and switch gears. Early last year, you opened up about your sexuality coming out as gay after winning SoCal's Rookie of the Year. Being in an industry like pro wrestling, I imagine that it must have been scary or difficult to sort of come out and be who you are, given that many people could be like mean about it.
Yeah, I mean 100%. I mean, the biggest thing I can say, the biggest like the biggest fact I can give is like at WWE, when you look at WWE, which is the biggest company in the world at the moment until Wednesday, it's the biggest company in the world. They only have one openly LGBTQ athlete, just one, so that tells you, and it's a female, it's not even a male, it's Sonia. So it's like, that just tells you that you are being a pro wrestler, you're already a small fish in a huge pond. Being a pro wrestler who's openly gay makes you an even smaller fish, So it was very difficult. It was when I come out, are the opportunities going to be taken away from me? Are people not going to want to book me anymore? Are people just going to look at that and not my talent? Like what, and it was a struggle. It was a struggle that stemmed all the way back to my family. It wasn't even just myself. It was my family too. One of the biggest examples that I always give is, my mother was always used Ricky Martin as an example and said, look at how long he waited and look at how successful he got. Don't you want to do the same thing? Don't you want to wait and be successful first? And I understood that point of view, but I also, success is important to me, but I think I also, more than anything, I want to help people. And I wasn't going to help people if I just kept my mouth shut forever and just have been a successful pro wrestler. I wanted to be able to do it while also being an advocate. I wanted to show people that my talent speaks louder than my sexuality, that my person is who I am. Like, being gay does not define me. Right. It's just like my ethnicity. It's just who I am. It shouldn't matter to anyone but me and to people who are struggling. So it was very difficult, but I don't regret that decision at all, because even to this day, I feel like every opportunity that I've gotten has been because of my talent. So that's why I don't regret it. I feel like no one has taken a chance on me just because I'm gay. Right. So
you don't think anything changed with you coming out?
I don't. I think, if anything did change, I think it was more positive. I think it was more, even within myself, I kind of just added that pressure on myself. Like, well, now you're out. Now people know. And now if you really just want to be judged for your talent, then you got to get your ass to work, and...
It's funny because I'm sure you had the fear of coming out, like you said, of losing opportunities. But now that you have come out, do you feel that has made you more fearless in the sense of, I came out and that was a really hard, obstacle for me to overcome. So now I can overcome anything if I overcame this.
Oh, what? Yeah, 100%. There have been many moments that I'm like scared to death for whatever reason. And I just think back to that and been like, you did it. Like, you're here, and you're doing it. So just keep going.
Exactly. And what were some of the reactions from your friends or your trainers?
It was all positive. It was all very welcoming. I came out to my trainers first, and then I came out to the school, to Santino Brothers, before I even came out publicly. And that helped a ton, because it just showed me that there are people within wrestling and that I have support. That no matter that, when the moment came when I was going to do it publicly, that I had this group of people, this family that was going to, have my back no matter what. And so I've been very thankful that it's been all positive. Even friends I have that I've made through breaking out and meeting friends in other states, even they're just extremely supportive, and I'm very lucky.
Did you ever not consider pursuing a career in wrestling because, you felt that maybe, going into it that it wouldn't work out just because, of your sexuality, or did that never cross your mind?
It did at some point. I think it was around the time that I was doing competitive cheerleading for college. There was a period of time where I was like, maybe I won't pursue wrestling because I don't think it's going to go well. I'm in an environment right now with cheerleading where everything's it fits, and I didn't want it. I was scared to challenge myself. But it was also one of those things, well, if you're not going to do wrestling, then what are you going to do? So then it just kind of felt back to, then just do it. So.
Exactly. It's kind of like no matter what struggles, if you stop doing what you really want to do, what are you going to do next? Yeah. There's nothing else, So I saw on Twitter that you mentioned that Trish Stratus was one of your favorites growing up. Who were some other people that you looked up to or that inspired you to become a pro wrestler?
Sure. Eddie Guerrero was a huge one, just because of my Mexican-American background. He was phenomenal, and I remember he cut a promo on SmackDown where he really dug down deep and just started talking about like his addiction and was just so open. Like, that to me really resonated. I had no idea what was going on as a kid, but like it was just one of those things where I saw reality. Like and I've always been a fan of reality, like just people being real with themselves, and that really stood out to me. Aside from the fact that he was an incredible wrestler. Oh man, gone too soon. Like, one of my favorite matches was him and Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 20. I mean, he was just incredible, AJ Styles too as well. There was a period of time where I was rebellious, and my mom would always punish me and would punished me by making me not watch WWE, but she had no idea what TNA was. So TNA was my loophole, like 05, 04, 05 era.
great.
And so AJ Styles, he was incredible. I was like, whoa, like this guy, it was so different. You know, I loved the Hardys and I loved Rey Mysterio, but he was just different to me. Maybe because it was on a different network and I was being a rebel, like that was my guy. And he was, when he debuted for WWE at the Royal Rumble, I was in tears because I was just so proud. Like that was, he's my favorite, he is my favorite wrestler, you know, and yeah, so those two were just huge influences for me.
I love that your mom punished you by not letting you watch letting you watch WWE. Yeah. It's crazy because in the end, it sort of ended up helping you out. So thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thank you. Like you pushed me to do it. So
it's funny because, you know, I'm Mexican as well. So it's funny how, like, you know, in the culture, there's certain ways that you get punished that are just hilarious. And I think that that's like a really funny way that your mom really thought you were being punished in this sort of way.
100, like, okay.
All right. Well, Jake, I got to tell you, this interview has been absolutely awesome. I feel that you have such a great insight to the business and your career and all of that. So I want to thank you for doing this interview with me. But before we go, every guest that comes through here, I like to play a lightning round game where I just ask you 10 random questions and you answer as fast as you can. Okay. So, Jake, I got to ask you, are you ready for the lightning round portion of this interview?
I'm stressed, but okay. I'm always stressed with these, but okay, I'm going to do my best.
Here we go. Lightning round with Jake Atlas. Question 1, favorite thing to do when you're not wrestling?
Hiking.
Number 2, person you would still like to wrestle that you haven't?
Cody Rhodes.
Question number 3, what's running through your mind before you step out of the curtain and into the ring?
I was born to do this.
Favorite TV show?
Monday Night Raw. I'm sure I have a different one, but okay, I'm just gonna go with that.
Favorite artist?
Ariana Grande.
Do you collect anything?
Hearts. I don't know. No, probably not.
What superpower do you wish you had?
Telekinesis. Move things with my mind.
What's the last thing you remember Googling on your phone?
If I had a Wikipedia page yet. And I don't. Not yet.
Question 9, and if anyone were to play you in a movie of your life, who would you want it to be?
Mario Lopez.
Question 10, show us your favorite emoji using facial expressions only, straight to the camera.
Oh, the one with the squiggly line like this and his eye like...
Isn't he drunk?
I think, is it?
No.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's my favorite emoji. It just goes with everything. I love it.
All right, awesome. Okay, Jake, before you go, tell the people where they can follow you on social media, where they can buy your merch, next shows, you name it.
Yeah, so follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Jake Atlas. You can follow me on there. I do have my Atlas Pride Edition shirt on lapelyeah.com. If you use the promo code Atlas, they are shipping it out for free. So definitely go and check that out if you're not going to be able to make it to a show near anytime soon. I am at Game Changer tomorrow night. It is the Joey Janela farewell. You've got Jungle Boy's last independent match, Joey Janela's last independent match. It's going to be a great show. So if you're in Jersey or it's going to be streamed on Fight, definitely check that out. And there's a lot of big things coming up. And I'm excited for you guys to be on the journey.
All right, thank you so much, Jake. Guys, as always, please do not forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel for more, as always, and don't forget to check me out on Twitter or on Instagram at _Denise Salcedo. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye.